hello everyone. I decided to cut on the live stream today and it won't be long. It's going to be a short one. I have some stuff I have to take care of. So I'm not going to be on for a long time. Let me move this a little bit closer because I know people were complaining about them not being able to hear me. There we go. But yeah, this is going to be a brief lot. I'm going to try to make it brief. We'll see. There's something I made this live stream for specifically that I wanted to get into. So, how do I say this? We've talked a lot about Shima. Hey, Shima, welcome. Welcome. I'm doing well, actually. I'm doing very well. I hope you're doing well as well. We've talked a lot about K-pop idols trying to fit into the mold of perfection, right? The subjective perfection, unrealistic expectations and things like that in appearance, in word, in deed, and things like that. And it got me thinking, Jonte, hiya. It got me thinking about how our cultures become when it comes to like certain things that's supposed to be messages of, I guess, encouragement when it comes to mental health. And I think I need to make a video talking about like BTS's Love Yourself thing. They're the first real K-pop group that I know that have really based a lot of their identity as a group on the message of loving yourself, accepting yourself, things like that. And I need to talk about that in a video because I don't think I've ever talked about BTS's message of love yourself, except for when I was talking about Ali London. And I only made one video on Ali London because he was only worth one video. That was like, what, 3 years ago? God, that was a long time ago. But I'm talking about this because, well, I'll pose it as a question. Have you ever seen or heard of the phrase, I guess it's a phrase, you're pretty when you cry? I've seen it quite a bit lately. And when I say lately, I mean like a year ago and the year before that. When mental health was being pushed to the forefront, I saw it a lot. And I'm seeing it a little bit more now. Evening Moonlight, check your Instagram. I think we'll like the vid. Okay. I will. I'll check it. As soon as this is over, I'll check it. This is not going to be a long live stream. But I've seen this phrase a lot. You're pretty when you cry. I think people made that, or whoever made that phrase, made it with the intention of like bringing, I guess, awareness to mental health, but also to encourage people that it's okay to cry. The problem with this phrase is that, and I've talked about this before in a video, I don't like the connotation of you're pretty when you cry or crying beautiful tears. That term was only made for people who are crying because of a struggle, whether it's a mental health issue, whether it's trauma from your past, whether it's a breakup or a loved one passed away, or something like that. It's not for crying tears of joy. I've never heard of, in my time when I was young, I've never heard of people say, "Oh, you're so pretty when you cry." Like, imagine walking up to somebody who's like going through a hard time. They just got laid off their job, and you tell them, "You know what? you look so pretty when you cry. And when I think about that, I'm just like, this, I don't think it's a good idea to walk up to someone and do that. But, you know, I've seen people wear clothes that say stuff like, and it's supposed to be a self-love kind of thing, like, you know, I guess bring awareness to mental health, but also self-love. And so I think sometimes, I guess my point is that we take self-love a bit too far to where it sounds, cringe isn't even the word to describe it. It's, whoever comes, whoever goes, goes. I'm just making this because it's not, I'm already working on something right now, so I can't really intrude on that. So I'm trying to do a live stream to kind of, because I'm having this inner monologue, and I said I'm wasting all of this talking to myself in my mind. I need to like let it out and talk to someone, talk to you guys. So I was just thinking about this today, like minutes before I went live. I've been thinking about this. I feel like I understand what they're trying to say, but I don't like the idea of crying beautiful tears. There's nothing beautiful about someone crying, to me. And I think it goes back to what one of you in the chat, the live chat last time, was saying about kind of, what was it? Something about constantly, I guess you could say, glorifying mental health and making it normalized. You've got people on Instagram or on TikTok taking videos of them crying. You know, I'm crying, let me set up the camera, which I think is very odd and very strange, and you'll never catch me doing that ever in my, no. People setting up the camera while they're crying because they want to get themselves crying on camera to share a moment that really should be to you, yourself, and you. I'm not sure why, but there is a weird toxic promotion of mental health, or mental illness, that is kind of permeating throughout the US, probably even in the UK as well, where people just upload videos of themselves crying because they want you to see it. If you happen to be talking about something on camera and you happen to cry, that's different. People usually, when they're about to cry like that, they either cut the camera or they just keep it going because they're like, I still need to say something or whatever, and they want you to get that raw moment from them because they're trying to be, as, I guess, human as they can, and have the video to be as, you know, I guess, open as it can be to the audience, relatable. And I've seen that before, even with people like my boy Richard from How You Back. There were moments where, you know, he would do a vlog, and there was like maybe some bad news came, and he's talking about it, sharing it with us, and then he would, you know, cry or whatever. And I never thought anything of that because it's not like he planned on it, right? But when you, and so I'm not talking about Richard crying, because that's totally fine. Or when Steph from, is her name Steph? Stephanie Sue? Is that her? From was it Mango? You know who I'm talking about? I think it's Stephanie, right? Stephanie, I think it's Stephanie Sue, isn't it? Mango podcast, what is it called? Mango, Rotten Mango, right? I know you guys know what I'm talking about. Rotten Mango. When she's talking about something very, very like serious, she's not planning on crying. It just happens. But so you know, that kind of thing, I get it. Even I've cried before, twice, twice on YouTube. I've cried, but we're not planning it. when you take a camera and you're planning on showing yourself crying while you're in the midst of crying, for whatever reason, because you want people to share in your I don't know, it's just strange. I don't get it. There's nothing pretty about this, and I think I know what that really means, or what people are trying to say when they say you're crying pretty tears. I know it's probably a boring subject, but you're when you're crying pretty tears or whatever. But I don't think that it gives the same impression as what it's supposed to mean. I think it's okay to just say it's okay to cry sometimes. I grew up with that all the time. It's okay to cry sometimes because I would hold it in. It's okay to cry sometimes, right? But when you say you're pretty, you look so pretty when you cry, or crying looks good on you. You know, it's like saying sadness looks good on you. Um, like depression looks good on you. A lot of people cry because they're depressed. Are you going to tell them that, oh, you should cry more often? It looks so good on you. Like, it just, I don't know, something about that doesn't sound right to me. And there's also, I found, and I'm gonna have to flesh this out a little bit more, but there's a bit of a, you might disagree with me, there's a bit of a narcissism to relying on yourself in the process of self-love. Like, I love myself. Like, I don't know, feeling like you're good enough to have full self-love without doing all of the things that indicate that you are loving yourself. Maybe narcissism isn't the term that I'm looking for, but I think to best flesh out what I mean is, forget the narcissism part. That might be a bad terminology or a bad explanation of what I'm saying. But to give an example, like, I think sometimes we say I love myself and I have self-love and I accept myself for who I am with, like, the external factors in mind only. And I know this because I've done this before. Look at myself in the mirror. I used to do this when I was younger because I had such insecurity issues, and I was this is something I'm going to tell you guys about myself. I'm going to tell on myself. Something I just recently shared with my mom and my sister. I have had weight problems, insecurity about my weight when I was a kid. I never liked wearing my shirt tucked in. I never liked, actually, Jungtae, I think it might have been you that said that. The toxicity behind, promoting mental illness. I think it was you. But, which was a very good point, by the way. But I used to be so insecure. And even when I got older, I was so insecure. I was always so self-conscious about, and that's something that kids should not be. But I was very self-conscious about my weight, about how people might look at me. It was baby fat, but I didn't see it that way. I was chubby and I didn't like it. And that same ideology, that same thought process followed me to when I got older in my, teen ages, like maybe 15, 16, 17. I lost a lot of weight, of course. I was very skinny, and I was very happy about it. And when I would see an ounce of, like, fat on my body, I would get so self-conscious. So, even today, sometimes it hits me and I don't realize it. And my family's like, Avery, you're fine. There's nothing wrong with you. And I'm like, no, there's something going on here. I do it sometimes in the camera sometimes. Y'all will catch me doing it. It goes back to something that I've dealt with in the past. I've dealt with, I think it's called bulimia, where you, like, make yourself throw up because Yeah, I've done that a lot. I used to. It wasn't that long ago, guys. I used to do that a lot. I would feel guilty for eating something. Um, I'm battling in my mind whether I should let it digest or not, because I know that if it goes down, I'm gonna gain weight, and the thought of that terrified me. So I would take my fingers and put them in my mouth and throw up and all that. And I'm sorry if I'm triggering some of you, but I'm trying to. Okay, the reason why I'm telling you this is because I made a community post this week saying that I was feeling off. Couldn't quite put my fingers on it, but I realized the day I made that post after I sat down, I'm think I'm depressed. And a lot of the depression that I deal with sometimes comes from insecurities. I can't do everything I want because um, I have physical issues that prevent me from doing everything I want, like exercising and all that. I still exercise, of course, and I lift weights and stuff, but there are certain things that I can't do it to full capacity, and so I get frustrated with myself. Um, but I've struggled with bulimia a lot in my youth, and still kind of struggle with it today. I'm dealing with it, overcoming it, right? Um, but there back when I was doing it like a lot, it was really really bad, and I would there were times where I would literally starve myself, which was a little bit worse. That coupled with bulimia is not a good combination. Um, I would eat crackers and that was it. So I know exactly what it means to look at yourself and be like, oh God, I gotta, you know, and this is all going to tie to K-pop in a minute with the unrealistic expectation of perfection that people put on idols and stuff. But it's funny because K-pop didn't influence me to do this. It was already like this since I was a kid. It just intensified as I got older and manifested into bulimia. And I would constantly just throw up because I didn't want to deal with gaining weight. Um, and I was happy about it. Happy about it. It was just strange things. Um, I said all that to say that I understand why people would look in the mirror. I've never really talked about this before. This is very deep for me. Um, I understand what it's like to look in the mirror and be like, oh, I want to change this and I want to do that and I want to. And then sometimes, you're told if you do affirmations, positive affirmations over yourself, then it will make it'll help. And that doesn't work for me. Positive affirmations don't work for me at all. I've tried it before. I've done it many times. Look in the mirror, say I'm worth it. I'm, handsome. I'm loved. I'm this and that and the other. Right? I've done all that. I've done all that stuff. Didn't work for me then. Doesn't work for me now. um, I developed another aspect of sarcasm to use not only as a weapon so that I won't get mad at people, but I'll just say witty, sarcastic things to them, and that would be my defense. But I also used it as a way to hide my insecurities with jokes and comedy and things like that. So I kind of developed that unhealthy practice as well. But using positive affirmations never worked for me. I didn't like doing it. I now see you can say all the stuff that you want. You can make all the positive affirmations you want. And for some people, it works for them. For me, it doesn't, because in my mind, in my worldview, personally, no amount of positive affirmations is going to change that when I wake up in the morning, I'm not going to feel any different. I wake up in the morning and look at myself in the mirror and go, there it is, the same little problem here, there, and I'm not going to feel any different. And so I threw positive affirmations away because all I was doing was using positive affirmations and using them as like a blanket or a force field to wrap myself around, or to wrap those positive words and things around me, using them as like a force field of protection to kind of like caress my insecurities, if you know what I mean. It doesn't help, it doesn't deal with the problems. It just kind of caresses your insecurities for a time. But when that positive affirmation fades away, and then you wake up the next day and you're just as depressed as the day before, and like I said, it helps some people, and I'm glad it helps the people that it helps. For me, it doesn't help me at all. So I stopped doing that. So I decided I have to make some changes because I love myself, but do I love myself enough to better myself and to make the necessary changes, so that I can love myself even more? And I think sometimes when we get to like the self-love talk, we don't go that far. We're like, I love myself, I accept myself, and that's it. Or do you love yourself enough to make necessary health changes? Do you love yourself enough to say, I'm going to do this amount of exercise, and I'm going to, kind of push myself a little bit to do something I don't normally do. And I started doing that later on, and it actually worked for me. Exercising really helps. And at least it helps me a lot. It helps me appreciate myself a little more. And it's a form of self-care that I think is very necessary. So I exercise and do things like that. But, I've gained a little weight since then, but I still exercise with that and work with that as best I can. I'm normally regularly like a skinny dude, so I don't gain a lot of weight. First of all, I'm tall, so that helps. And I'm on the slim side, so I don't gain a ton of weight and all that stuff. But when I do, I try to use it as best I can. But I think my point is, I shared a lot. I think my point is that sometimes we use affirmations to kind of caress our insecurities and kind of put them to bed. But anything that is put to bed has a tendency of waking back up, because all you're doing is putting it to bed. You can put it to bed just like a kid, but eventually that thing's going to wake back up and you're going to deal with the same problem. So what do you do when positive affirmations that are used as a blanket, as a force field to caress insecurities and put some of those worries to bed doesn't work anymore? What do you do? Well, I think that self-love is also tied to self-sacrifice. What are you willing to sacrifice for the sake of really applying the action of loving yourself? Is it like a unhealthy habit? Are you willing to give up certain food pleasures? Are you willing to maybe don't drink Coke every other day? Are you willing to do things like that? Because again, a lot of the self-love stuff comes from loving yourself in the body you're in. Not so much, I have a terrible personality and I need to change it. It's always like, well, what I am looking like physically, I need to love myself. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't love yourself, where you are. everybody's health journey is different, but the key part of that is that there needs to be a health journey somewhere. My mom, for example, my mom is on the thicker side. You guys have seen her on my channel before many times. She's been trying to lose weight for a long time, and I've been kind of helping her with that. And thankfully, some of the things that I have been doing with her has helped both me and her a lot. Don't ask me why my dad's not helping her. I don't even want to go there, but I took it upon myself to say, my mom actually is trying, so let me help my mom a little bit. And she doesn't eat a lot of snacks a lot anymore. We have like a Friday where we eat snacks, and then that's it. Snack day is Friday, and then that's it. And we only really eat like one thing of a snack. It's not like we snack all Friday. But we do that with each other. We do that together, and it's helped her and it's helped me a lot. It's self-discipline, which is another part of self-care and self-love. Do I love myself enough to discipline myself? And we often talk about self-love. We don't talk about all the things that go into it. And I guess to tie it into the K-pop aspect, we look at K-pop idols, and a lot of times, not we like us, but there are people out there that will take dieting practices that K-pop idols have done, eating a carrot a day. By the way, just so you know, and this is not to brag or boast, because there's nothing braggadocious about this. I actually did that once. I took a carrot a day and ate it. I don't know if it was just because I was just so depressed or what. I took a carrot a day and ate it, and I lost a lot of weight. The problem is that once you actually start eating like a real meal, your body overcompensates for all the times you missed and skipped real meals, and then you gain weight, and it kind of creates an instability within your body internally when you do that. It's very weird, but because I still have struggled with that back then, that's what I did. When you get old like me, the calories can pile on. So I increased my yeah, see, my metabolism is quite, like, I have a very fast metabolism, which is why I didn't gain weight easily. I still don't gain weight that easily today. I do gain weight a little bit more frequently now in my 30s than I did in my 20s and my before 20s, my teens. But I'm still, like, my metabolism is like, you're not old. Yeah, okay. Whatever you say. Welcome, by the way. Good to see you. I'm old. I'm pushing 50. Yeah, but you look good for your age, though. You look very good for your age, Quinn. I know you don't use your actual name on social media. Rubius. Yeah, you don't look, I used to work with Rubius, by the way. He was a fellow coworker. Yeah, you look good for your age. So no one would be able to tell that you were in your 50 if they saw you. Of course, I have a youthful face, so I guess that kind of helps. But I've always, I've always had that problem when I was younger, and I struggled with bulimia and things like that back then. And it's funny because I was watching The Crown, and I did not know that Princess Diana, was also struggling with bulimia as well. I had no idea that that was a thing. So when I saw the scene for the first time of her, like, willfully forcing herself to throw up her food, I was like, oh my, I don't know what happened. Something triggered me because I think I suppressed the fact that I even did it. I suppressed the fact that I even did it. And I would tell my mom so that she wouldn't worry about me. I would say, "Well, I'm just dieting." I would lie to her and say I was dieting. She would bring home pizza. I turned it down. She would bring home fries, burgers, ice cream, and I loved all that stuff. And I would turn it all down. And she eventually started getting to the point where she was like, "What is going on with this guy?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm dieting." I was lying to her, of course. I wasn't dieting. I was dealing with depression, and I was bulimia, dealing with bulimia and all that stuff. When I saw that Princess Diana, did the same thing, I was shocked because I didn't know that that was a thing that she was dealing with until I watched The Crown. And it brought back all the memories. But thankfully, I'm in a better place now. And I wanted to do this live stream just to kind of I do what I can. What you can is good enough. You do your best, and your best is good enough. Sometimes we feel like our best isn't good enough, but if you do your best and you know what your best is, and you do it, it's good enough. You're not the only one over 50. A lot of my audience is over 50. A lot of my audience is older than me, actually, which is very interesting. It's funny. I think it's honestly. Let me get off of this heavy topic for a minute. I've always, when I was a kid, older people in their 50s, 60s, 70s loved me. I don't know why, or at least I didn't know at the time, but they loved me. I got older and was able to have conversation with older people. When I worked at Applebee's, there was a guy named Tom. There was a guy named Pat. There was a guy. There was these older guys, Tom, Pat, Mr. Keith, Garcia. All of these people much older than me. I would conversate with these people, and they loved me. I didn't know what it was about me that older people liked, and then I realized because people kept telling me, "Well, you have an old soul. You're an old soul, and you're wise. Like, you're wise for your age. Normally people your age are very green and very, young-minded, youthful-minded. But you have, like, you spark intelligent conversation with people twice your age." I used to think it was an insult. I didn't like it. I didn't like that older people were the only people that I attracted. And then, of course, I made this YouTube channel, and then I realized that a lot of older people was gravitating towards my channel. I now look at it as a compliment, whereas I didn't look at it as a compliment before. I look at it as a compliment and actually an honor now, because I have reached a point in my life where I'm at peace with the fact that I attract older audiences. And because older people have a lot more understanding, and they've seen a lot more than I have, and they can attest to a lot of things that I was not alive during any of the stuff that they went through. They can kind of shed some light on things. They're very understanding. They are not unreasonable. There are some old people that are unreasonable, obviously. But the people that I've talked to that are older than me are very nuanced thinking people. So I've never had a problem with talking to older people. It's the younger people my age and younger, that I seem to have a problem with. Because they're just so young-minded, and I've never liked young-minded um, personalities. And when I say young-minded, I'm not trying to demonize youthful thinking. Nothing wrong with that at all. I'm saying the immaturity that comes with youthful thinking. I have never really been the kind of person, even in my early 20s, that was that immature. And I'm not even saying that to be prideful. I know myself well enough to know. The only thing I was immature in was money and managing money. That was one of the few things I was immature about at that age. First thing I bought when I got my first paycheck was what I worked it up towards a PS3 or PS2 or something. I think it was a PS3, Xbox 360, something like that. It was a game system. And then the first thing I bought with my income tax, well, when I got my tax back, I bought a TV. So I don't know if that's as bad as buying a game system or not, but whatever. But as far as personality wise, when young people talking about, getting girls and stuff, and because that's all they talked about, girls, 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 um, sex, sex, sex. It was always that. I'm not interested in that stuff because it's the same thing over and over again. Is there anything left? Is there anything to you other than whose drawers you can get in? I was never that kind of person. Plus, I was raised in a Christian home, so that probably helped. But yeah, I attract older people because I guess, I'm just an older people magnet. Um, Older people have flirted with me more than younger people have, which is, um, I don't even know if that's something I should bring up. But anyway, if I was 20 years younger, and I'm like, if I was 30 years younger, and I'm like, okay, all right, but you're not, so. But yeah, it's been a very interesting experience. Yeah, I really wanted to come on this live stream and just talk. But again, with the whole perfection thing, a lot of things in K-pop are that way. Yeah. K-pop, even BTS have had toxic relationship with Wait, and yes, that's true. That's true. Um, so that that's which they can really attest to. You really need to love yourself, and even in their journey of self love, right? You've seen things like Jimin get mad at himself for not being perfect, even in like a performance aspect. He would get mad at himself and kick himself and cry because he's like, that should have been better. And it's only the practice. It's not the actual concert, and he's getting mad at himself and beating himself up for it. Um, and so you see their struggles on full display, right? And I think when it comes to that, um, imperfect people are the best people that can talk about loving yourself, because loving yourself is not a one day decision and it just automatically you love yourself for the rest of your life. I've said this many times. I don't think I'll ever fully love myself, even like until the day that I leave this world. I don't think I will ever fully, because people will have you thinking, well, you need to fully love yourself. You need to fully embrace who you are. Even people that say that they embrace themselves fully don't really embrace themselves fully. They don't actually mean that. They say they mean it, but they don't actually mean it. There is calling me right now. There is an aspect of that. I'm 53 and I like the way you express your thoughts and emotions. Time to go to bed for me. It's oh wow. Yes, well, you get to bed then, May, and thank you for coming. And thank you for I appreciate that compliment. I really do. Um, I appreciate that. Um, Funny because I never thought I'd ever build an audience. but you know, God's been good, so I am grateful that I'm blessed to have people like you in the moon base. And I like that, by the way. I still love the moon base. It's brilliant. But I'm grateful to have you guys, all of y'all. And yeah, but BTS, you know, they're the perfect example of talking about self love. I feel like I'm kind of messed myself up. I was supposed to be saying something and I messed up. I can't remember exactly where I stopped off, but I guess I'll catch it if I remember. Um, but yeah, I think that's what I was trying to say. That people who say that they are fully loving themselves don't actually. I'm not the oldest, but is there an age? Is there an age contest here? Are we trying to? Everybody's trying to compete for who's the oldest. um, oh, thank you, May. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you for your support constantly. I appreciate it. I appreciate all of y'all so much. Thank you. Um, you know, I'm sometimes I can be overly thankful. Um, and you know, some people will say, well, you can never be too thankful, but I feel like I'm overly thankful. I've made many thank you videos in the past, thanking you guys, and I will always be grateful for what you guys have given to this channel, because YouTube channels are nothing. I um yeah, give it a moment. I should be back. I always get a phone call every live stream. I'm not sure why, but I always get a phone call now. It's like it's almost intentional at this point. Um, the red of BTS will be out military soon. Oh, oh, got you. Yeah, so I think that what who's left in BTS to get out the military? I think V and RM and Suga and of course Jungkook. Um, who's out now? J Hope's out. Jin's out. I think those are the two that are out right now. Okay, I think that those are the two that are out right now. I like BTS on the fuller side, to be honest. But yeah, I appreciate that. You know, we all of them except Jin and J Hope. Yep, that's right. I am going to talk more about BTS's self love. Um, I think I need to do a deep dive in understanding where they are coming from when it comes to self love, and I mean what I get out of their promotion of loving yourself. Um, Again, sometimes loving yourself can go a bit too far if you're not careful. You can love yourself and it can become a form of self worship. Like you, yeah, well, self love can become a form of self worship if you're not careful, is what I mean. Where it's all appearance based. Your character could be absolute trash, but you could like be this beautiful person like on the outside, and you constantly, I love myself, I'm a 10, I'm a perfect 10, but your attitude is like intolerable. So, you know, and then you're like constantly, I don't know. There's an aspect to it of nuance that sometimes, y'all know me, I'm like the king of nuance. I just talk about nuance all the time. There's nuance in everything. Um, there's not nuance in everything, but in something like self-love, where people would say there is no nuance, I see nuance, because that could easily be twisted and distorted and tainted by self-worship and things like that. And so I think it's important to keep ourselves grounded and humble to change, humble to improvement, and not so much focusing on, oh, I'm a big person or I'm a skinny person and I need to love the body that I'm in, which you should love the body you're in. Absolutely. That's a problem if you don't. But do you love yourself enough, like yourself? Yourself is not just your body. It's who are you, right? Inside. You should love yourself enough to also want to make the necessary changes that you need to make, the necessary life adjustments that you need to do to improve yourself, to improve your life, to have a better life, physical health, mental health, emotional health, all that stuff. And so, again, going back to, the unrealistic expectations that are thrown on K-pop idols to look, either for female idols mainly, to look skinny, which I don't understand. By the way, Moonlight, Onu is or was holidaying in New York. Oh wow, recently? I'm telling you, I don't be knowing half the stuff that's going on with SHINee. They literally, I feel like Onu was in Korea like yesterday, and now I'm hearing that he was in New York recently. These people don't get any breaks. But did anyone see the SM with them doing Lucifer? Oh, I know what you're talking about. No, I didn't see any of that. I didn't see any of that, actually. Yeah, I didn't see any of it yet. Not yet. JJ looks confident. Speaking of which, well, I'll just close the topic and then I'll move on to something else. Never got invited to it. Oh, that's disappointing. Yes, I think that on our journey to self-love, I think we will find that it's important to always love yourself no matter what, but also love yourself includes self-sacrifice, right? And risking or forsaking something to pick up a more healthier perspective and a more healthier life choice that's better for you, that's more beneficial for you. And that is the complexity and the difficulty of self-love, is that we don't just love ourselves because, oh, I'm big and there's nothing I can do about it, or I'm skinny and there's nothing I can do about it. There's always a way. And if you love yourself truly, you can make those improvements and things like that. But yes, let me cap off that conversation for a minute, and maybe I'll make a video to kind of flesh it out a little bit more, and it'll just like be a short little. Y'all know I don't make short videos. I try. I say that this video is not going to be long. It ends up being like 30 minutes long, and apparently that's short to me. Not really. Not really. But I'm going to make a video fleshing that out, talking about it a little bit more. But there was something else on my mind. There is another version of the video I released. I think I released it today, where I was talking about, was it today or was it Thursday? Did I release it Thursday? I released it Thursday. There was a video, the longer version of that video, and I have, the reason, now I cut this out on purpose because I didn't think people would take this very well. But I cut it out. I'm gonna let you guys hear it when I pull it up, because I think you guys should hear what I said. But it was kind of like two different conversations. And so in that, let's see, it's not here. In that respect, I did not include what I said there, but I cut it out, and I have to find it, but I cut it out on purpose. And I think it was a lot smoother cutting it out, because the whole video would have been 25 minutes long, maybe a little longer. But, and also I'm talking about some other stuff with that. But I like Moonlight's recent video. I commented that I am worried that Cacao relationship with SM will make things harder for their artists. Speaking of Cacao, there's a video that I'm working on. You guys know it's the Sunghan video. I wrote the entire script. It's already done. I just have to record it and edit it, and then it'll be ready. Of course, it takes a longer time than what I'm saying, but I'm gonna record it and edit it. I had it in my mind to originally just talk about how I was initially happy for Sunghan being, announced as a solo artist. But I can see now that they're just doing the same thing with Sunghan that they did with Lucas. They're literally just using him to milk us and to milk the fans of Sunghan. There's more to this, though. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but there is a, hey Rain, welcome. There is a TikToker who goes by the name of Jaehyun. I think it's Jaehyun Cho or something like that. He says he's worked with 2 K-pop groups, and he used to be, I think it was he used to be a freelancer for SM, and he was talking about why the boycott of Rise is so important. And I'm going to include, or I should say I've included what he said in my breakdown video of this whole situation. Because what he said, I couldn't have put it better. I could not have put it better myself. He's a Korean American. And there were things that he brought up that I actually didn't know about. So, okay, I did not know that SM has no, apparently they have like a quarterly, yearly chart of all of the things that's going to be releasing, like a new girl group, a new boy group, a new album for this group, that group. They even, you guys remember, they even said that Super M was coming back. That never happened. And he brought that up as well. But also, I just noticed CapCut is working again. Yes, it is working again. Thank God. You have no idea how happy I am. Because I was kind of panicking a little bit. I don't have time to learn a new system, especially when that system that I was going to use in place of CapCut doesn't have a voice record feature. Why would you make a recording app with no voice recorder feature? Because I can't use my camera right now. So CapCut is very nifty, and there's another one I was going to use, but I don't think it's available for Mac or Yeah, MacBook. So I was going to use another one, and I can't remember what that one was called. I can't remember what it was called, even off the top of my head. I can't. But I didn't like it because you can't record anything. It has to be something already pre-recorded, and my phone doesn't have a lot of memory storage in it for me to just keep, recording on my phone. I used to do that when I started YouTube, record on my phone, and then my phone became obsolete because the memory started acting stupid and I couldn't do it. So I needed a camera, and then my camera started acting stupid. I need a new camera. So it's just like, which is why I try not to promote that I need all this stuff, but I definitely want to improve the quality of my videos and stuff, and sometimes make appearances on my channel like I used to. So yes, don't skip the ads, guys. And if you want to donate, feel free, because I'm trying my best. I gotta get me a camera, y'all. I gotta get me a camera so I can get my videos back to because with a camera you have way more options. You don't have to stick to videos where you can't see me. You can just hear my voice, and I got to put all this stuff in here to fill up the empty spaces, and I hate doing that. I mean, I like it, but I don't like it at the same time. It's easier when I'm in front of the camera talking to you guys, and then I'm gonna try to change. I actually am changing what side of the room I'm gonna be on. Y'all know that I used to be in that corner. I'm out of that corner now. I'm gonna be over here where my big brown desk is, my podcast desk. Once I clear it off, that is. But yeah, so I'm gonna be changing up a lot of stuff. This is gonna be tough. But yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Try Temu and see if you can get one from there. I don't know about Temu. Temu and technology. I don't know about Temu. I don't know about that. Maybe, but well, I'll probably end up just going to a camera store and looking for a camera there. But getting back to what I was saying, this guy, what was his name? Jaehyun. He said that, and which I looked at it myself, and yes, it's true. The quarterly. Well, let me put it this way. Jaehyun said that he doubts that Sunghan is going to make a solo debut. He actually said, I quote, allegedly. And he said allegedly, I meant as a price reference check. Got you. Okay. Gotcha. I'll do that. But it's probably going to be like $600 or more. Like, because the camera I have is like $600. It's probably going to be $600 or more for a new camera. And if I plan on getting a DSLR, it's probably going to be even more money. DSLRs are usually more expensive than regular cameras. But if the DSLR allows me to have better picture than this rankety-dank camera on my phone that I'm using, all the more reason why I need to use it. And I'm gonna probably do something with the ring light as well. I probably might get a different ring light set up to do different things like that. But yeah, he was saying that he doubts that that Sunghan's gonna make a solo debut because in SM's quarterly, yearly releases, like when they show you what's coming out and what's not coming out, what's being pushed back and what's all, nowhere, he said nowhere on that list is Sunghan. He's not listed for 2025. So either they're pushing Sunghan back or he's not debuting as a solo artist. And one of the big things I'm going to talk about is how, I don't care, I gave you guys a spoiler, I'm going to give you another one. Not that it's any surprise to you guys, because we all agree that Sunghan not being brought back to Rise is such a from a marketing standpoint, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. If you're making him a solo artist because not for the fans, because they didn't do that for the fans. They didn't do that for the fans. They did not do that for the OT7 fans. No, they didn't. Because if they really wanted to appease the OT7 fans, they would have brought him back with Rise and let him stay there. They did not make him a solo artist for the fans. They are making him a solo artist to milk his popularity of the OT7 fans, because that's who's going to be supporting him. But Jaehyun says he doesn't think that he's even going to do a solo debut, which I believe him. And I'm choosing to believe him because he claimed that he was a freelancer for SM during the Kakao Hybe thing. He said that's when he started his freelancing with SM, during the Kakao Hybe battle. I don't think he's lying at all. I don't think he's lying whatsoever. I think he's completely honest about that. So that's why I feel confident enough to even put his statements in my video, because I believe he is telling the absolute truth, and he's saying everything that we've been thinking. From a marketing standpoint, if you believe that Sunghan is marketable enough to be a solo artist, then you should also believe that he is twice as marketable for Rise. And why they won't put him back with Rise, it doesn't make sense. And he made a very good point. If you're going to make him a solo artist, you could have just put him back with the group. If you were going to bring him back out and not completely tell him, you know what, shove off, you're done, then you probably should have just put him back in Rise like you intended to. But I think what happened was SM thought they could put it away, and I don't think they had an initial thing. Like, I don't think they had a plan to make him a solo artist. We said something, and they, I think, were trying to appease 07, but it's really not for 07's benefit. It's just for them, for their own benefit. They don't care about what the international fans have to say. Plus, what I did not know is that Rise is not only signed to SM, but they're also signed to an international, well, what is it, an American label? Which I need to actually look up to make sure that I have that information accurate as to what record label it is. But they're signed to an American label as well. And he brought up a very good point. How can you call yourself a global group if you're not willing to listen to the international fans? And the OT6 people, by the way, I also believe Jaehyun when he says that the OT6ers have been actually sending him harmful messages, threatening him, like sending unaliving threats and things like that, telling him that he needs to hurt himself and stuff, and other things, because he's been standing up for Sunghan and standing up for Rise being 7. And I believe him. I believe him, that because that just sounds like something they would do. And it's the Koreans. It's the OT6 Koreans in Korea. And he also said something that I talked about Koreans and foreigners telling people like me and you that we are not allowed to talk about or have an opinion one way or another about Korean idols or Korean culture or Korean anything, because it has nothing to do with our country. But if a K-pop group comes here, signs signs to an American label, and if Korea can be inspired and adopt some of like Western culture stuff, like R&B and hip hop and there's, what is it called? There's like what is it called? British pop or something like that. I can't remember what it's called. There's all kinds of different Western styles and Western cultural things that they adopt, and yet we're not allowed to talk about Korean society. It is an argument as old as time, and it's played out and worn out. And I'm not gonna hold back anymore when people say this. It's a stupid argument. It's a trash argument, and go shove it, because I'm not gonna. You're not gonna tell me what I can and cannot talk about. If they can come here and they can collab with our artists and rub shoulders with Nicki Minaj and Meg Thee Stallion and all these other, the Jonas Brothers, and they, you know, they go to the UK and they rub shoulders with what's that Coldplay and all these other artists. How are you going? Who are you? And then they have brand deals with Western brands, clothing brands, fashion brands, and all. How you gonna tell us that we can't speak? Y'all bring your artist here, and we can't talk about what's going on there, but y'all want to mingle here. Entitled much? No, you're not going to do that. You're not going to try to tell me what I can and cannot talk about. No, I'm an American, so y'all bring y'all people over here and y'all talk about, well, this is a global group. It's global. Guess what? I'm gonna talk about. I'm gonna talk about it because it's within my Korean stuff and English stuff. Period, is in my general scope of conversation. So you're not gonna try to tell me that I can't talk about it. And what kills me is not even so much that Koreans try to tell people they can't talk about stuff like this. Westerners got the nerve to tell me, well, just leave them alone and let them mind their own business, and you mind your own business. But y'all the same people that in one of the Singles Inferno seasons got mad at the Korean dude because he said that he's attracted to pale-skinned women, and black people in the West got offended and started voicing their frustrations out on social media about why it was inappropriate for some reason that he brought up that she was pale-skinned, and how it was offensive to the black people that were watching it. Do you know how stupid you sound? I know. I told you I might get meaner this year. I try my best. I try my best because I'm just tired of people saying stupid stuff out their mouth, and then when you call them out on hypocrisy, they double down on it. But we're the ones that's supposed to be quiet and not say anything and mind our own business. Well, how about this? When another Korean person says what their personal preference is when it comes to like what attracts them, how about you stay over there in America and keep your mouth shut and don't talk about how them talking about pale-skinned women offends you? Since I'm supposed to mind my own business too. Stupid. Rules for thee, but not for me. That's what that is. All right. I'm glad I got that out of my system. I could be much harsher. I'm just choosing not to be because I understand with great power comes great responsibility. So I have to temper myself. I can't allow myself to get too ignorant. I've let stupid go on for 2024, not 20. No, I really, that's kind of how I feel. Chinese Nuna said Korean culture is conservative and unforgiving to idols, actors, actresses, etc. Yes, it is. Very unforgiving. Very unforgiving. To an absolutely stupid, I think stupid might be my new word this year. It's very. I've never seen people hold such a strong grudge for so long. I even Korea holding a grudge against like Japanese people. And listen, let me just say this: I understand what happened in history. I understand what the comfort women statues are for. I respect that. I respect all that, and I'm not saying this to crap on any of that. Um, and before I say what I'm going to say, I also would like to say that um, I think that to avoid Koreans getting triggered when they see anybody wearing Japanese imperial symbol, maybe Japan should get rid of the imperial symbol. Hot take. Maybe they should get rid of the imperial symbol because it is offensive. I don't know why. Maybe there's some Japanese imperialists still, but like I don't think it would be that big of a deal to remove it from your brand for like your clothing brands and your cups. You know they have mugs with the Japanese rising sun symbol on it, the imperial version with the lights going everywhere. I think they should get rid of that. Personally, I'm not saying that they're going to, but I think they should, just to avoid this. Idols have gotten in trouble for coming to Korea or being seen, even in Japan, paparazzi taking pictures and plastering it on social media and plastering it on all these different, forums. Oh, they're wearing the Japanese imperial symbol, and then they get in trouble for it, and then the company has to apologize, and then they have to apologize idol, and then it becomes a whole mess. So maybe just Japan needs to get rid of that symbol because it represents something bad in South Korean history and in Chinese history too, because they did occupy China for a while too. Um, that said, the grudge that Korea and China have with Japan after all these decades over this, I feel like why can't we forgive? Why can't they just forgive and then because mind you, they're holding a grudge against Japanese the descendants and they're going to keep doing it. It's going to be a perpetuated cycle of a grudge. Every generation is going to have this grudge against the Japanese, both in China and Korea, for something that happened eons ago. I'm not saying that you should forget about it. It happened. You should remember it. You should remember it, so that we don't repeat those the bad decisions of the past. But there's something to be said about a grudge, but from one nation to another, where I'll tolerate you enough to work with you and have Japanese idols in my Korean group and to do like business with you from a money standpoint. I'll tolerate you enough to do that, but I still don't like none of y'all Japanese people or the imperial thing or whatever. And it kind of shows when companies kind of treat Japanese and even Chinese people differently than they do Koreans. It's very weird, and I don't like it. But SM's good for that. They're known for that. But I think the grudge just needs to stop. Of course, Koreans will say you have no place to speak about that. That is a very sensitive topic. Do you not know what they did to us? How can you say that knowing what they did to us? You sound ignorant. You sound stupid. No, we need to stop these grudges. I'm not saying what they did was wrong. I'm not saying that what they did wasn't wrong. It was, of course, wrong. Everybody knows this. Historically, it was very wrong what they did. But the grudge, you've got to stop this grudge. Got to stop the grudge. And, of course, people assume that I don't apply the same amount of pressure to my own country and my own people. Oh, yes, I do. Oh, yes, I do. Because I've been saying for a long time now that black people need to stop holding it over white people's heads that your ancestors did this to our ancestors, thus you should pay for it. Kind of that mentality, I don't agree with that at all. White people are not suppressing you. Stop blaming white people for why you can't pay your bills. Stop blaming white people for why you can't get ahead. Stop blaming white people for why the system is rigged and all that. Stop it, because we're past that point in our nation's history. We've already dealt with all this. So I'm very critical about my people over here, just as much as I am. Well, I'm kind of actually light on other countries, but I will say that I think it's wrong to hold a grudge. I think it's wrong to hold a grudge. Like, for instance, what America did in Hiroshima and Nagasaki when we dropped 2 atomic bombs, that was tragic. Very tragic. And we acknowledge that. And we recognize that. And you can't change that. But does that mean that we should constantly keep hating Japanese people? Or, listen, we dropped 2 atomic bombs. I wouldn't be surprised if there are Japanese people that don't like America because of that. Still. Because that had a huge impact. Y'all don't know how many lives we took with those 2 atomic bombs. It was bad. But I think there's a moment in time where it's happened. It happened. We remember it, but it is over. It happened already. And it's been years since then. We've got to join hands. We've got to come together. And to an extent, America's a little bit better at that. I've seen Americans go to, game events in Japan, dap up Japanese people. My brother, for God's sakes, my brother is in Japan right now. Where does he live? He lives in Yokohama. I think he lives in Yokohama right now. He lived in Saitama for a time, and he lives in Yokohama now. He's a teacher, and he's made tons of friends in Japan. Americans are just better at this. You come to game shows, game events where you're playing Street Fighter tournaments and things like Tekken tournaments and all that, and you meet Japanese people and other people of other countries. It's big in the Middle East as well, the gaming culture. And you dap up and you meet and greet everybody, and you come together on common ground, games, but there's more to it than that. I think there's something deeper. That human connection, there's something much deeper than just games that unites people like that. It's like we get past the grievances of the past, and there's some aspect of that camaraderie, that synergistic union of 2 people from different parts of the world coming together and just coexisting. It's a beautiful thing. And there is no, atomic bomb. Like, I remember what you did, what you Americans did, or I remember what you Japanese people did. I remember the Japanese imperialists, or any of that stuff. It's just, let's be friends. Let's play games. Let's make memories, right? Let's forge new paths in life. Let's be better, right? Together. That's beauty. That's the beauty of the human being. And it oftentimes is overlooked by, oh, your people did this to my people, and your people, like, and the one of the things that annoys me about black people, like, not all black people, but the liberal kind of black people, their whole identity is built on oppression, and they got to spearhead the oppression, the oppression mentality. They've got to spearhead it. They have to convince every black person, you are still oppressed, and I hate it. Some of my audience members are probably white. you are not oppressing me. Just, I just, it's wild. It's so wild. And again, I could go into that in depth one day in a video. Critical race theory is evil. Critical race theory is one of the most evil things in this country that I've ever seen. It is literally reverse racism against white people, and it's disgusting, and it's evil, and it's demonic. Told you I'm not holding back this year. Never have I called a thing demonic before, but it is demonic. Or it is. It's demonic. It is a demonic ideology that says that no matter if a white person and a black person are in the same predicament, that white person will still inherently have some leg up on this black person because they're white. What? Like, no, no. I've worked with white people that were in the same predicament and even worse than I was in. They struggling too. What we need to do is come together as blacks and whites and do what Martin Luther King said. Join hands. But we don't know. The liberal black people don't know how to do that. And it's sad. There is no reverse racism, just racism. Well, I understand from a practical aspect there's no such thing as reverse racism, but tell that to liberal black people who say that, who say derogatory and disrespectful things about white people because they're white, and you tell them that it's, well, you're just being racist now. They'll tell you that's not racism. There's no such thing as reverse racism. They say the same thing. But there is. I mean, reverse racism is just a way of saying that blacks are being racist to whites now. It is reversed now. It used to be, Jim Crow and all that stuff instigated by white people, white institution and all that. Now it's black people are doing a switcheroo, and it's reversed. Now white people are being discriminated against. White people are being, ostracized. White people are, black people are attacking white people now and demonizing them and calling them the seed of Satan, and that say that they need to be eradicated from the face of the earth. Radical left-leaning black people. And that is reverse racism. Of course, it's all racism. It's all generally racism, but it's still reversed in that sense. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. I'm not saying that, I'm not disagreeing with you. It is just racism. But liberals don't think that. At least the black liberals that are crazy. They don't think that. They think there's no such thing as reverse racism, and that you can't be racist towards white people because white people have more power and privilege. Which is not true. That's why I say it's reverse. Oh, shoot. Yeah, that's why I say it's reverse. But yes, I do understand your point. This is why human race won't survive to colonize planets is the way to hold on. Won't survive to colonize planets as they will carry the hate with them. Yes, I agree. That's a bad. Yeah, that's why I said it's just racism. As I think saying reverse racism is like saying what they want. Saying what they want and that racism only happens to blacks or what have you. So yeah, we're agreeing. Yeah, exactly. It's all racism no matter what. But certain groups don't see it that way, so you have to tell them you're actually reversing racism. It's like reverse racism now on white people, which has kind of always been a thing, but it's worse now because I don't really understand why black people are like this. Not, like I said, not all black people, but it's just strange to me. Anyway, it's a very complex conversation. But yes, we're agreeing. We're agreeing. DEI is being stopped in Canada too. Thank God. Thank God for that. And people are, demonizing other people or vilifying other people that say that we don't support DEI. How can you not support DEI? Well, because you're hiring people based on a superficial thing. You're hiring people based on superficial things. I don't care about who you get in bed with. I don't care about what you're sexually attracted to. I don't care about your color, the color of your skin. I don't care about your ethnicity. I don't care about any of that. You can be any of those things and all those things. As long as you can do your job, that's all I care about. If you can't do your job right, out you go. And then they want to gaslight us and call us racist because we fired a black person. No, we fired an incompetent person. That's what I did. Anyway, I'm glad that DEI is being stopped in Canada because God knows. I did hear that Justin Trudeau did step down. I think that's who that was, Justin Trudeau. Um, and thankfully so. I saw a TikTok vid on how trans are being denied passports, and if trans and if trans try for male or female one, they still get denied. I'm not sure why that's the case. I wonder why that's the case. I'm not sure. Maybe it's because I don't know. That's a very interesting a TikTok video on how trans are being denied passports. Is this in the U.S.? Because it sounds like I don't think the trans aspect is what's being attacked. I think what's being attacked is that the trans people aren't willing to admit that they are biologically male and female, and that's why they're being denied passports. It's probably why they're being denied. Because they want on their passports they them probably, or he, she her when you're actually a he him biologically, and it's like a way of, I guess, maybe denying or not, what's the word I'm looking for, not affirming what you identify as, but rather wanting to open your eyes to the reality of what you actually are, which is, like I said, is the difference between transgenders and transsexuals. Transsexuals have a little bit more common sense. Transgenders, they believe that your gender can change with transitioning, and that it doesn't. Transsexuals believe, well, it's, they have gender dysphoria, which is a mental illness, which causes them to feel the way they feel about themselves, that they are a girl trapped in a boy's body and vice versa. And so they make medical changes and things like that. Well, hello, Sumi. Hello, hello. Welcome back. So yeah, I think that's what it is. Like I said, I listen to all kinds of people. Buck Angel, people rag Buck Angel, but I actually respect Buck Angel, um, because he is very common sense based. How are you all? How are you all doing? Well, yeah, doing well. I'm doing a lot better now that I'm talking. Now that I'm talking, I feel a lot better. Oh yeah, I noticed a serious topic. This topic has been like flung around like I don't know how many times. Like I don't know. I think I've changed the topic maybe 3 times today during this live stream. But that's okay because my initial topic was why I started the live stream in the first place, because I really wanted to talk about the unhealthy self love messages, but I only dealt with one, which is a phrase that you've heard before. You're you're pretty when you cry. That whole thing, that was like, oh God, you're pretty when you cry. Ugh. I still don't understand that. What is you guys' song of the month? I actually don't have a song of the month. I have to look. Actually, maybe I do have a song of the month. But it's probably an Onu song. I just have to figure it out. Yeah, I think Onu's album came out in January, didn't it? No, well, I haven't actually. No, I haven't listened to Onu's album yet. I need to listen. Well, the one that I have, the mini album, I have that one, but I don't have his section. Oh God, I cannot speak today. His second official full length album. I don't have that one, and I need to get it because I want it. Minho, I want Minho's album too. I'm not a fan of Onu's voice, sorry, but I appreciate the... Oh wow, you're not a fan of Onu's voice, huh? That's interesting. That's the first time I've ever heard that. I've never heard anybody say that they're not a fan of Onu's voice. That's interesting. Magnetic by Islet. Anyone see the 8 Orbit MV? No, I have to catch up on everything. Ever since I haven't done reaction videos, I have not caught up. And I feel bad because someone came to the live chat one time and requested a reaction, and I still haven't done it. And I actually want to find that live stream so that I can find the request again. But you know, like Jenny's song Zen. I actually heard that song. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's not bad. I'm still trying to find the music in Jenny's Zen. No offense to Jenny. MV was no offense to Jenny. MV was wonderful. Lyrics, usual. So the lyrics were what? So? Well, I'm gonna have to listen to it now, cause I'm I'm gonna have to listen to it because now I'm curious. I think my favorite release of January is Thunder by the group 6. Oh yes, I've heard it. Yeah, mad lyrics. That's not good. If I were to do an unpopular K-pop opinion video talking about like lyrics and stuff, people were not going to be happy with me. They're not going to be happy with me. My favorite line is, I'll tell him down now. I'll tell him down now. Did you see Taemin's Guilty live stage with Enhypen's Nick? Yes, I did. When is K-pop not struggling with English? When is K-pop not struggling with English? When it's Key, when it's Shiny's Key, when it's TXT's Magic, when it's and the other song that they did with Jonas Brothers. Oh my. When they're doing stuff with English producers and whatever, the English songs are bad. With the exception, and I will hold this, and people are going to be mad at me, with the exception of BTS's, what was it? Actually, I don't know if they did that with a American person or not, but I don't like Butter is one of the most nonsensical lyrical songs I've ever heard. Smooth like butter, like a criminal undercover. Hot like summer. I'm probably mixing up the lyrics, but hot like summer, making you sweat like that. It makes no sense. It's like you're just throwing out words. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Mama. Careless, careless, shoot anonymous, anonymous, heartless, motherless, no one to care about me. Like literally that. Does anybody understand that? No. I still don't understand. I get it, but I don't get it. It's like throwing out a bunch of words. Careless, careless, shoot anonymous. Yeah. Pleasure Shop was a cool video. Yes, it was. I actually like Pleasure Shop. That was very. Key is just very good at what he does. That man is a hustler. You know what? I actually want to make a video on like Key. I need to make a video on all the individual members now that they're actually coming into their own with like their solo stuff, and why each member doing all of those different kinds of sounds that are unique to them is so important in K-pop. In K-pop. SHINee is God's gift to K-pop. Period. And it doesn't make any sense. Love the EXO oh. Yes. Key is the king of visuals. I would love to see more Key videos. I also have it on the list. Yes. Key now qualified Western. Yes, Key is a qualified Western cook now. I have so many typos today. Don't worry. Key's also choreography with Wikipedia. Oh, okay. I really have. Oh, there was one thing I did want to let you guys hear, which was hopefully I think that I had this thing turned up to the highest. Hopefully it's not too loud. I wanted you guys to hear the parts that I took out of the video because there's a reason why I took it out. Maybe you guys might disagree, but let me see if I can find it real quick. Turn this down a little bit. Too. It's no surprise that netizens believe that half of the time these false victims are actually telling the truth. I'm not aided all of that stuff. That needs to be a criminal offense. Never be washed away. It will always remain on their record. Fruits of learning from your mistakes and your bad decisions because you're continuing to do the same thing that you did before. What makes you think that these people are going to still support you? Some of them will, of course. But what makes you think that people are going to continue to support you when you do things like that? Well, getting these idols the help they need, mentally, emotionally, having someone to talk to, I don't know, something. You guys couldn't have done anything? Because Jonghyun would probably still be alive. Sully would probably still be alive. And God bless Sully because I know she wasn't in the company anymore at that point. She had left. But still, the amount of hatred that these fans, these netizens, have been throwing at idols just for existing is insane. I think all idols get scrutinized heavily. To be honest, I think all idols get scrutinized way more heavily than the normal average citizen in South Korea. Good question. So, that's up for debate as to the intensity of the scrutiny. But regardless of the scrutiny, the pressure to be the best, the most perfect human being in society that you can be weighs heavily on public figures in South Korea. And I promise I'm not saying this to trigger people. I think this is the part. People are going to be triggered from me saying this. This is the part I cut out. But it's sad. It's something that is embedded in the society of South Korea as a whole. You see it more prominently in K-pop and in the Hallyu wave because they're celebrities, so everything they do is front and center for everybody to see. But I saw a documentary years ago of a bridge, and I can't remember. I always keep forgetting this. Somebody actually in the comments had reminded me what it was because they saw the same thing I saw. I think it's a bridge either in Seoul or somewhere like that. It might not be Seoul, but you guys can correct me in the comments. Again, I'm going strictly off of memory. I don't have anything in front of me. But people keep jumping off of this bridge in South Korea because they're tired of life and they want to unalive themselves. They're tired. And South Korea does have a group of people that rescue people from the bridge jumping. They have like their own business where they try to rescue as many people, this group, rescue as many people falling from the bridge as possible. So many people have been brought up to the boats, already gone, already unalived, already deceased. It took a toll, and it takes a toll constantly on the workers' mental health. All of them have to seek therapy because they pulled up so many dead bodies out of the water, people that they were trying to save. It's not just the industry's problem, it's the society's problem. And I'm not trying to sit here and say that America is more morally sound than South Korea and it's better off. It's not. I'm also not saying that all of this is doom and gloom in South Korea and there's just a bunch of people unaliving themselves. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm not going that route because that's extreme. I'm simply pointing out that the same issues that we're seeing in the K-pop industry are the same issues that we're seeing in Korean society. You have to think about internally what is it in Korean society that causes them to want to resort to this, okay? And I think that on a societal level, absolutely needs to change. And I don't have to be Korean to say this because all of this stuff is public information that everybody can just look up. These aren't lies made about another country. It's something we've seen constantly. Even South Korea has talked about the problems with mental health in their country. The industries reflect the society in which those industries are founded in. So it starts on a societal level and it works its way up to industry level because the industry is founded within that society. That's why I said in the last video talking about the problems with Korean society and the industry is that society starts it and industries perpetuate it. Society is to blame, and the way that people pressure young people in society is to blame. Now, again, there's good pressure and there's bad pressure. Pressure to do your best at whatever you're doing for whatever reason. Scholarships, pushing the kids to do better in whatever field that they are interested in, for the purpose of getting a better job, for the purposes of... Now, that was basically the part that I cut off, was that. Because I felt like it might have been a bit too intense. And it kind of... I felt like I kind of got off track because I was talking about the issue. I mean, I probably wasn't off track, but... I omitted it because I thought maybe that should be saved for a whole nother time. I think I made the right decision on that. But I thought it was important that you guys heard that part because it's very important. And I got a lot of pushback from the last time from people saying that, I shouldn't, or Westerners should not talk about the problems in another society when their own society is this, that, and the other, which never said that America was perfect. But if you see something in another society that's obviously wrong, then, you should be able to talk about it and call it out. I think on this video, I also took out a very important point, that it's a double standard almost when you say that we shouldn't talk about Korea as Americans, and yet Americans feel like they have an opinion, on the Israel and Hamas thing that's going on, and people in the West can criticize Israel all like the whole day long, and all that stuff. But then when it comes to Korea, oh, don't talk about Korea. No, 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 leave Korea alone. Oh, no, 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 no. Well, both of them are countries that I'm not from, and I have opinions on both. So it's like and honestly, Israel is probably one of the more untouchable um, issues than what the issues that you see in South Korea. So I don't know about that, but I think if we're going to hold one group to one standard, we should hold another group to that standard as well. Don't sit there and be like, oh, you can't talk about Korea. Like, I feel some type of way because our culture in America is no better than Korea, and you're trying to tell Korea, what to change and how to be, and I'm like, no, that's not it. It's not. I'm not trying to tell them what to change. I'm saying that I am saying that there are issues, right, that need to be changed, but I can't make them change it. I can just say, I can just talk. There are issues in my country that need to be changed too. The only reason why I don't talk much about the issues in my country that need to be changed is because me and several other people that are watching will get into a fight about what issue, like what, because what is an issue to me may not be an issue to the people that are watching. So we're going to have differences of opinion on what is the issues and what's not the issues. And we might agree on the issues in some aspects, but we won't agree on the cause of the issues. Because some people are going to say, well, it's because of race. I'm going to say, no, it's not because of race. And we're going to have clashing heads, right? So it's like, it's a bit different. I can talk about the problems in Korean society because I'm not fighting with anyone tooth and nail about what's wrong. Obviously, what's wrong. What's wrong is wrong. It doesn't matter what country you're in. If it's wrong, it's wrong. But I put that in the video too, but I actually forgot. I just remembered it. And but I just kind of gave you the longer version of the shorter version, which would have been on the video. But either way, if you were a neutral documentary channel, they will take the same message more seriously than if you would via a KTuber channel. Not saying this is my take, but just saying that I notice, or what I notice. Yeah, I guess I could agree with you there. Yeah, if my channel was a social injustice channel talking about like global injustices, I don't know, they might actually take it a little bit better. But because I'm a KTube channel and I bring up something about, I don't know, it depends on the people, honestly. I think it's a case by case thing because not everybody's like that. But there are some people that feel like they need to, like, I guess, properly steer your ship because you're not properly steering your own ship well. So they think that they know better, and so they're trying to tell you, when the truth is, so don't doubt you're saying the wrong things, but it's just that this is a taboo topic for KTube, or for K-pop, KTube, often from what I've seen. It is a taboo topic, and I'm trying to, I think it's actually funny because I'm the kind of person that wants to confront the taboo topics because people always run from them. I think the more we run from them and the more we tell people that you shouldn't talk about it, well, the more taboo it becomes. It only becomes taboo because we avoid conversating about it. But if we actually conversate more about these things, open up the floor, I think it'll be better. You're trying to sweep Sweep broom through the dusty closet, basically. Yeah, that's kind of how it is. Yeah. Like, low, let's not talk about this. Let's not talk about this. Just leave it alone. Like, no, we need to address this. We need to talk about it. If we can talk about the wrongs being committed by, by Israel sometimes with all those bombs and stuff, if we can talk about how our opinions towards them, we should be able to talk about, K-tubers should be able to talk about Korean society and the problems that they see there. And yes, we can talk about Americans, problems too and relate it to that. But Korea has a, I've always seen Korea as having a harder time with some of the stuff that America has an easier time dealing with. And I think sometimes we make unfair comparisons because we just want to be fair. And I think that's not always the right way to go because it's not going to be the same. How Korea deals with perfection is not the same way that America deals with perfection. Again, America created self love and body positivity. And whilst a lot of these things are taken away to extreme, which is one of the things that I kind of talked about in my What is Woke video, um, and I kind of gave a historical context to body positivity as well. But we've created all of these things to compensate for that, for perfection. Like, you are perfect as you are, or the way you are. Korea, they are sold products that tell you that if you brighten your skin, that's more acceptable or more desirable. If you are slim, that's more desirable, and all this other stuff. So all of these things that we may have at one point struggled with in America, we don't do that anymore because we have all of these things in place to promote positivity within our society. But Korea, it's like they're kind of getting to that, but not quite yet. There's still some growing to do. Um, and the K-pop industry is semi beauty industry too, because a lot of these people, you have the beauty industries, right, where they sell you products that brighten your skin and all that, because that's it's embedded in the culture, and the culture created it, this is, through society, and then the industries started to influence the societies because they can promote it way better than a society ever could. So they promote it and spoon feed the society. This is what perfection looks like: brighter skin, thinner frame, certain eye shape. So what do? They get plastic surgery and get that eye shape. Certain mouth, chin, shaved jawline. What do? They go and get their jawline shaved because it's the desired look. It'll get you, like I said, parents pay for their children to get plastic surgery at a certain age so that they can have a better opportunity for a better job. That's how ingrained in society it is. And that's something that we don't do in America. We don't have that problem. And so there's clearly issues. And, yes, they're cultural, but that doesn't, just because they're cultural doesn't mean that they're not issues. So, it was cultural at one point for there to be slavery in our country. But we can all agree that no matter if it's cultural or not, slavery's wrong. And I'm not trying to compare slavery as intense as it was to the perfectionism stuff, but the intensity of it. Like it was an intense thing to have slaves in slavery and all that stuff. It's a whole intense thing. It's intense to want to change your whole physical appearance so that you can have a better life because society pressures you to do that. That's pretty intense. And the fact that parents pay for this for their children when they come of a certain age, because even the parents will tell you, yeah, we want you to have a better job because it's very competitive. and you've got to look the prettiest, and you've got to look the best, and you've got we got to brighten your skin up because you look so tan. We have to brighten you up so you can get the job. You know, things like that. It's very intense over there too with that. So there's intensities, and it's a problem. So you know, I'm gonna call it a problem, and of course, Westerners are not gonna like it. Um, Koreans are probably not gonna like it that much either. But I have to be honest, it's a problem. And if I was had my kids, you know, I was raising my kids in Korea, and you know they if I married a Korean woman, I had mixed kids. Well, they're automatically not going to be as bright skinned as all the other kids. So now I have the task of raising my kids to love the skin that they're in and not seek validation from people who believe that the brighter you are, the more desirable you are. That's a struggle. If you put an American who's married to a Korean woman in a situation like that, it's going to be another whole, you know, it's going to be a difficult situation, right? So, and I've heard these stories before from, you know, mixed race couple, I gotta stop. I gotta desensitize myself from calling it race. Mixed ethnicity, mixed ethnic groups, because we're all one race. I don't know this. Anyway, y'all know what I'm talking about. I think you guys understand what I'm saying. And I think that strikes a lot of people in a sore spot. I also think where it goes wrong is where K-pop fans associate themselves with K-pop and Korea personally. And so if you make Korea look bad, they think that you judge them for supporting a toxic thing. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. Or they get mad at you because they're like, well, you have not been to Korea. You're getting this from someone, from other people who have said it. You know, this person said it, this person said it, this person said it, and now you're kind of spreading like this bad outlook on Korea, and you're deterring people from coming to Korea and having a good life because you're telling people that all we care about is looks and everything, which is not what I'm saying. But some people would actually make it seem like, yeah, Korea, they're just superficial people. That's not true. That's not true. That's not true. Um, but I will say it is ingrained within the culture for them to constantly talk about skin complexion and things like that. It's natural. It's a natural thing, and I don't think they should be vilified for it. But there is an excessive, obsessive part of that I'm addressing, which is the way that society pressures in a negative way the youth of Korea to look and appear as something, right? For validation and for getting a better job and for improving your life, you have to look like this to get ahead. And it's just like it's not a good thing in that sense. I think that's yeah. It's like P. I'm not gonna say that word. P people. Hey, having that conversation. Wait, having that conversation and rather sweep up. Academica. Academica. What is academics mix? Oh, academics. Sorry, I did not. I thought you were talking about a person. Academics. No, I see you. You changed it. You corrected it. Okay, got you. Look at wait. Let me read that again. It's like the P word people hate having that conversation and rather sweep over it. Look at academics. They take it too far when I think that's what everybody's doing typos today. Even Chinese Noon is doing typos today. They take it too far when they don't need to, when they are fine as they are. Yes, like I understand, and listen, I will say this. If you're doing plastic surgery to improve your face for yourself, that's fine. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. If it's for you, that's fine. Where people go wrong in Korea and in other countries too, even America, is when you're trying to look a certain way to appease society. That's the problem. When society tells you you're not going to get a very good job if you don't look like this. So you get plastic surgery to check the boxes off so that they look at you and be like, yeah, okay, she checks all the boxes or he checks all the boxes, great. When you do it for society and not for yourself, because you want to do it, that's when it becomes a problem, right? When society pressures you in a negative way to look a certain way and say that this is the most desirable thing in Korea or in America even, and you do it for that purpose, it's not good. Because you're not living your life for yourself. You're living it for society and for society's approval. And society tells you that it's more desirable and attractive to the opposite sex. So you do it to attract the opposite sex instead of doing it because you want to. You know what I mean? And that's another problem. I also think that the fan sites are... I also think that the fan sites are a horrible factor in all of this. Completely photoshopping idols to be so much paler. Yes, I agree. That's right. Moonlight, 2 hours ago, this will be a short live. I know. I said this was going to be a short live. It ended up being 2 hours. I lied, apparently. I'm just a liar. I'm a liar. I lie every time. Even on my YouTube videos, I'm like, this is not going to be a long video, and it ends up being 20-something minutes. That's not a short video, guys. 20 minutes is not a short video. It certainly doesn't take a short time to edit. So I'm just lying to everyone. I'm lying to myself. Because deep down, I want it to be 10 minutes, 15 minutes long. And it just, realistically, my mouth, jabberjaw. Terrible. I'm a terrible YouTuber. This is why those beauty standards were just made up by someone and changes every decade. Yes. Discussion is just too good. That's what it is. It's really, I'm having a good time discussing this. And I don't even know how we got on this topic, but, maybe, I don't know how we got on this topic, but I'm glad. Time passes when you're having fun. Yes. Time passes when you're having fun, and I'm having fun. And I'm reading all this stuff with my glasses off. And again, my glasses are like this. I swear, guys, I cleaned these glasses off. And I said to myself, I'm going to wear these glasses on this live stream. They are foggy as all get out, and I wiped them. That's probably why they're foggy. I wiped them. You just have a lot to get off your chest. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Listen, all this stuff is not going to fit into a video, so I have to blow off some steam here. I have to blow off some steam. But I'm not going to have this live stream go on for 3 hours. I won't. All right, I won't. I will not allow it. I will not allow it. Watch what I do. Watch what I do. It won't be 3 hours. I'm telling you right now, it's not. Thoughts on Trump apparently stopping federal tax or something like that? I haven't fully looked into it. I'm gonna be honest. I haven't. I've heard about him stopping some other things, but I haven't fully looked into Trump stopping federal tax. I think definitely just go offline if you have to. Taking rest is important. Yes, I know. I I just I enjoy having conversation, and in that enjoyment I lose track of time. So I need to just keep track of time. I need to be better at that. Time management has never been one of my strong suits. Uh, as evident in all of my 20 to 30 to 45 to hour long videos, which I only have 1 hour long video, but I think the Trainee Leo video is like a close second. I think that was like maybe 40 something minutes. And I couldn't even completely finish that video because iMovie crashed because of how long that video was and how much stuff I was trying to put into it. And I was trying to. I was trying. iMovie is trash. Anybody that tells you different, they're lying. iMovie's trash. Don't ever use iMovie. Don't do it. If you do it, only use it for like 10 to 15 minute long videos. Don't use it for anything beyond that. Because iMovie will crash on you. Sometimes, wait, sorry, yeah. Something about him ending federal income tax. I don't remember. I think there was a reason for it, but I've heard of it, but I can't remember entirely what it was about. I have to look into it again and then come back to you on it. What was your shortest live duration? Maybe 30 minutes. Maybe 30 minutes. I think my longest live duration was maybe 6 hours. Yes, I've actually went 6 hours doing a live stream before. Crazy. Because more people showed up at the tail end when I was going to stop the live. And I said, oh, more people showed up. I guess we'll talk longer. Because I didn't want to begrudge them of, they just got here. Me being nice. But yes, my shortest one was maybe 30 minutes. Maybe. I might be wrong about that. Yeah, it does. I must have been having a really good time. I don't know. I can't tell you. I have no idea what I talked about, but it must have been awful good to last for 6 hours. I don't know. Oh yeah, I would feel so bad as well. Yeah, you're like, oh gosh, like I feel guilty even though they're the ones that showed up late. But maybe they just found my YouTube channel having a live stream and they wanted to chat for a while. And then one of them kept calling me Kylie Jenner or something like that, and I was trying to figure out why they were calling me that. I'm not pretty. Probably switch hit topics. I don't think I've ever talked to someone for 6 hours. If there's like a few people activity, if there's like a few people actively typing, I would. Yeah, if it was one person, it'd be like maybe 10, 15 minutes. If I've said everything I need to say, then it'll be done with maybe less than 20 minutes. And then I'll just end the live if it's just one person. Yeah, someone called me Kylie Jenner in the comments. And I don't know why. And I asked them why and they wouldn't tell me. I'm just going to assume that they thought I was pretty. I don't know. I don't know where they got that impression, but okay. Kylie Jenner it is. Ugh. Okay, how long has someone talked your ears off? Like, what's the longest conversation you've had? That's a good question. You know what's funny? I don't really talk to people that talk my ear off too much because yeah, I think maybe the longest conversation I've ever had that I can think of with someone is my older brother. My older brother talks more than me. They all say I talk a lot, but my older brother and my younger brother, they can beat me in like they will talk. They will talk. My younger brother is actually a YouTuber as well. He started before me. Um, but he's yeah, it they're both just very talkative. Perhaps they thought you were rich. I don't know how they would get that impression. Rain. Yeah, well, I can imagine how his wife feels. My older brother, he talks a lot, so I could imagine his wife probably wants him to shut up sometimes. My brother can talk. I love him, but he talks. That man can talk. He does. He probably doesn't even realize it. And as introverted as I am, I wasn't even sure that I could do YouTube well. So I'm surprised that I could actually keep people's attention for 6 hours. I told my mom about it. She was like, "What? You did 6 hours?" I'm like, "Yeah, 6 hours." I unfortunately have a family who don't know how to talk. Well, Sumi, just come join my family. We'll fill that in for you. Trust me. We'll talk. We'll all just talk. That's all you'll get from us, talking. Nothing but talking. My dad's a motor mouth. That's where we all get it from. My dad, he can talk. My mom, she's very good at conversation, but my mom starts to reminisce and then she'll start going back in time to her life, start telling stories, then she'll start going off. And we all are just talking, talking. Which is funny because I was the mute. I was mute. Yeah, I guess you could say I was mute for my younger. Your dad passed on the talent. Yeah, I never thought of it as talent, but yeah, I guess if you think about if I think about it that way, yeah, it is a talent to talk that much. It is. 'Cause my dad can talk. The only difference between my dad and everybody else in my family is that my dad talks and doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I mean, my dad makes no sense. You don't do. If you talk to him, he's going to get off topic and start making no sense at all. Do you guys have that as well? That you feel so awkward if nobody really talks, but you do? Yes. I know I do. Don't talk my ears off, but I will ask you all sorts of questions for a long time. Yeah. I'm very surprised at myself though because I thought I would not be good at this at all. I didn't do live streams for like 2 years. I just had started doing live streams I think last year. That's when I started. I think it was last year. But for 2 years I didn't do live streams. I think it was for 2 years. Yeah. Because I didn't have enough subscribers to even do live streams. Half of them wouldn't show up because I didn't have a lot. I tried it maybe one time and I was like, yeah, maybe not. We're not there yet. I say I hate talking for a long time, but I'll be the one continuing the conversation with a bunch of questions. You're more social than you think. Anybody deal with social awkwardness? Anybody socially awkward in the chat? Because I've been told that I'm somewhat socially awkward. I think they're right, by the way. I think I am socially awkward. A lot of introverted people are socially awkward. I am that. I am in that phase where like 4 people will show up for my live streams. Yeah. Is your older brother funny? He is, but not as funny as me. I'm the comedian of the family. Like I'm the real deal comedian. My younger brother is funny by being not funny. When he's serious, that's when my younger brother's the most funny. My older brother, he's funny. He says stupid stuff. But I'm the real OG comedian. Like I'll if we know each other well enough and I tell you some crazy stuff, I might have you on the floor doubling over in pain. How do you humor others and your family? I don't know if I can I don't know if I can tell you. Because a lot of them are inside jokes. A lot of them are inside jokes. Because okay, like I said, you'll have to know a little bit about me and my life, and like just for example, there's a guy that I used to work with at Walmart, and I would I would constantly do an impression of him, and I had my dad rolling because I told him about the guy that I was talking to at work. If I do a voice impression, you're probably gonna laugh, but this is what he actually sounds like. At least to me. I'm exaggerating, but this is what he sounds like to me. Oh God, it's so. Oh, this is embarrassing. I've never done this before on a live stream. Okay, well, first of all, I need to give you some context. This guy that I'm about to impersonate, he claims to be a child of God. He claims to be the high priest of his family, but he has a problem with women. I'm trying my best, but this is so hard because I know it makes me laugh because I know him. I know. So he'll come up to me sometimes and go, "I need you to pray for me." I can't do this. Can't do this. I can't do this, y'all. This is too much. Can't do this today. He'll say something like, "I need you to pray for me because I'm dealing with I got this girlfriend and she's she's a hoe, but I'm trying to change her and make her a Christian because I believe that God gave it to me. God gave it to me. God did it. God did it. He gave it to me. Okay, I need you to pray for me." And stuff like that. And then I'll tell him, well, if she's a hoe, she's a hoe, and you can't really do anything about that. You can't change people like that. Why don't you just go for a godly woman? Because they won't have sex with me. Godly women won't have sex with me. I got lust problems. I got lust problems. but you're trying to change her into a Christian. Yes. But you're having sex with her. Yes. Because there's a problem there. There's a problem there. But he's hilarious. But again, you got like you might not get it because you've never, talked to this person. But if you see him, how old is the man? Oh my God. I think the guy's maybe in his late 50s. He's a short guy. He's bald. He has like a, when I describe him, you're probably going to laugh even more. He's bald. He's got like, so, okay. He's short, he's black, he's bald. He has this gash. Can't do this. Because I think the reason why he acts the way he acts is because he something happened to him one day to make that gash appear on his head. It's stitched up and everything, but he has a big fat gash on his head. So I think his head must have split open at some point. It's not supposed to be funny, but it is. And it's kind of hard to look at him directly because like he I don't know how to say this without being mean. Maybe I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that. He's not a very, like, he looks, I can't, I can't do it. I can't say it. I can't say that. I can't say that. But he just looks very strange. I'll just put it that way. He looks odd. I don't want to be rude. I've already been rude enough. I'm trying to impersonate him, but yeah, I mean, he's a coworker, so it's kind of like it's hard to run away. I mean, you could though, you could, but he'll say stuff like, "Oh, I saw your sister. Oh, I love. Oh, your sister. I watch your sister. I watch her carefully." And I'm like, "What do you mean you watch her carefully?" No, I'm saying I'm not like that, not like that. I'm talking about I watch your sister and the way that she walk and carry herself. She's such a godly woman. And I'm thinking, right, that's not what you was about. That's not what you was thinking, okay? And my sister is like younger than me, and you're talking about, and you old as dirt, and you talking about, I watched your sister. That man's old enough to be my father. Crazy. Yeah, I've had my dad rolling because I would make up jokes about how he talks, and if you picture his face and you picture him talking, it sells the joke. I've impersonated my grandmother many times. I do that often. And as y'all know, I don't like curse a lot. Oh, I don't curse, but although there might have been a few times that I accidentally let a certain word slip out here and there. But generally I don't curse. But my grandmother constantly calls first of all, my grandmother doesn't know how to say our names right. My name is Avery, okay? My actual name is Avery. My grandmother calls me Ebbe. My younger brother's name is Dorian. She calls him Thor. My older brother's name is Kyle, and she calls him Ka. And then Raven is like Rebbe, like Ribbit. And my dad is David. She calls him Debit, right? So I made up a joke where she says, not God, not that one, but like she'll say, God damn it. My dad's name, it sounds like I'm saying the other word, but I'm not. And when I first came up with that, everybody bust out laughing. Was like, "Oh, that's a bit too far, Avery. That's a bit too." I'm like, "No, it's not. God, I didn't curse. I said, God damn it." Raven, Rave, love. You have wonderful names. I thank you. But I will say I hated my name for years. Just so you know, I never liked the name Avery. Why do you think I used Antonio instead of Avery? I don't like Avery. Moonlight Avery sucks. Avery is the name of a jokester. I guess it suits me fine in that sense, but I don't like the name Avery. I do like what it means, but I don't like. I love your name. Oh well, you're too kind. Why? It's such a cool name. Avery is such a ugh. Avery. Ugh. Avery. There goes the nerdy, geeky Avery. Ugh. Or Avery. Ugh. I don't know. I think it's because in my when I was a kid, people used to pick on me. This would be one of the moments where Chinese Noodle would tell me to drink some water. What's the name of a pirate? Avery? It's giving Aubrey from Drake. I also hated my real name for years. I'm okay with it now. I'm okay with it now, same, but I hated it when I really hated it. Um, I still don't like it as much as my middle name, but I don't I don't have the same disdain for it that I used to. Um, and my parents, they didn't like, they were just giving us names that sounded good. They weren't really the meaning of them was like, well, I don't know it. I don't know if my mom knew the meaning of all the names as she named us, but she named me. I think she named me after the actor Avery. Was it Avery Brooks? Yes, they called me Steve Urkel because back when I was a kid, I had those round Harry Potter glasses, and they would always say, "Oh, you look like Steve Urkel. You look so much like Steve Urkel." Could you say, did I do that? And I did it. Shouldn't have. Um, and look, a lot of you are new to my channel, so there's a lot about my past that is just terrible. No kid should go through what I went through. No kid should go through that. I'll talk about that at another time. That's yeah. No kid should go through that at all. What's your most viewed YouTube video? What's my most viewed YouTube video? Uh, ooh, this is a quiz. What's my most viewed YouTube video? Let me see, because I actually don't know. It's between, though. I will say this. It's probably between. I think between Internet's Nathan and the Beckham and Dio video. I think those are the two highest viewed videos on my YouTube channel, if I'm not mistaken. That's just going off of head. But yes, I think Nathan is the highest viewed one. Jungkook, I think you're right. Jungtae, there we go. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, it is. It is. I think. Is it? Let me see. Yeah, I think it is. I don't know. Is it? I don't know. I don't know, guys. Hyde cleared of allegations has 14K, whereas the Nathan one has 10K. So I think the video I uploaded 3 weeks ago has more views than the Nathan one now. Hyde cleared of allegations of workplace harassment. That one has 14K, so I think that one might be at the top. And then second place is probably the Nathan one. And then third place is probably, oh, I don't know, y'all. I think the Dio and Beckian one might beat both. Dio and Beckian one has 19K views. And I was not expecting that video to get that many views. Although I put a lot of effort into that. You can tell. I was afraid that the video would get blocked because of how much stuff was on it. There's so much copyright stuff on there. I'm thankful to God it's not partially blocked or completely blocked. It's just copyright. So it's still good. But I knew it was going to be copyrighted. But I was worried that all my efforts would be for nothing if it got blocked completely. So I was glad when I saw that it can be you can show it, and you know, the original owner of the content approve of, you know, you can use it, but it's, you know, you can't monetize it. Which I was like, that's fine. That is fine if I can't monetize it, as long as I get this video out, because I put a lot of effort into this daggone Beckian and Dio video. I put so much work into that thing. And of course, people mistook my intentions for as they always do. Why'd you put all those other idols in the video? If this is just about Beckian and Dio, leave all the other idols out of it. I don't like that you compared them. Well, that's not what I did. I said what the intentions of why I put them in the video, and they still thought I was comparing the idols to Beckian. No, that's not what I did. There's always something. There's always something. I swear, when you're a YouTuber, there's always something. Always. It is what it is. When you're a YouTuber, that's just, you gotta deal with it. Who's ready for GOT7 comeback? It's funny because at first, at least back in the day, I was never a huge fan of GOT7. And I kind of started paying attention to them later on. So I'm kind of, what is your K2 goal or dream for 2025? I don't know. I don't know if I even have a goal at this point. As far as like what I want the channel to do, and you know, what's my goal for like subscribers, you know, I don't even have a specific goal for subscribers or views, or even like I don't really know. I think ultimately my ultimate goal, I used that word twice, I don't know why. My ultimate goal for my channel is just to spread more more conversations, and to have more conversations, and to kind of, I guess, encourage healthy dialogue and tackle topics that a lot of KTubers don't tackle. Honestly, because that's my goal. That's my only goal, is to just spread more conversations like the ones that I have. And I'm a very simple person. I don't ask for a lot. I don't even promote my channel as much as I should. I don't tell people to donate or ask people for money or anything. I don't do any of that. I'll tell you, hey, you know, this is available. The option, if you want to, is available, but you don't have to. But I don't really promote a lot. I'm very simple. I just want to constantly encourage healthy dialogue, and encourage critical thinking and deductive reasoning about the nuances within K-pop. That's all I want to do. create a atmosphere where people are comfortable leaving a comment. I've been in YouTube channels where people are not comfortable with leaving a comment under a video because of how toxic the comment section of that YouTube video is. And it's discouraged many people from engaging in what could have been a healthy conversation, agreeing, disagreeing, and agreeing to disagree in a way that's not insulting or belittling to the other person. And that's what I want. Huh? Ain't much in there. You get what you get is your motto. Is your motto. Yeah, pretty much. You get what you get. Who would mistake him for Korean? Wait, who would mistake him for Korean? But I was partial to Jin Hyung of GOT7 in Bam and Bam Bam. Sorry. I'm so sad some channels have such toxic audiences. Well, whatever they oh my God, can you read, Avery? Please read. Y'all forgive me, I'm getting a little frustrated with myself. Let me read that again. I'm so sad some channels have such toxic audiences. Whenever they harvested that themselves or not. Oh, yes, I agree with you. And actually, it's one of the things that kind of caused me to look at even Nathan's channel the way that I do. And I said in the video I still respect the guy, but looking back on it and that whole issue, his video was half the problem. I've always been self-conscious of reading anyway. Again, that's a story for a whole nother time. I'm surprised that I've become as confident as I have been in reading. Sometimes I'll be on a live stream and I'll read an article to you guys. And I'm very happy at how far I've come with reading. Like live reading. Because Avery from years ago would never have read anything live at all. Because I just was not good at reading when I was younger, so. But yeah, the way that I look at, let me read some of these before I start talking. What's that candy you just tossed? That was Tylenol. My mom needed some Tylenol. She's not feeling well. Put your glasses on. There we go, Shiny Nuna. There she is. There she is to give me my orders. I always appreciate you giving me my orders. I put my glasses on earlier, but they're so foggy. I'm telling you, I cannot see through those glasses. Every time I do a live, no worries. I have nystagmus. I think I'm probably not saying that right. So I have a reading disability. Ah, Sumi, you're the same as me. I understand if people have a moment over it. We're the same. We're the same. Can you dance? I always imagine dancing, but I've never actually done it. Never actually done it. But if I'm ever, reading is scary. It is scary. Listen, Sumi, I think you and I might actually I'm jokingly saying this because I don't believe in doing this, to be honest. But I think you and I can trauma bond over our reading problems. I got some stories. One in particular. So I think you and I should trauma bond one day over some reading stories. And I mean that in the non-trauma bonding sort of way, but it is a very dramatic story. Can you do? Yeah, I listen. I can twerk, maybe, 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 or I can do the Donald Trump dance. I had it since birth, so I don't know better. No, and listen, hey, that's again, that's another story too. I could tell you because I think that one of the reasons why I have a reading issue, it doesn't come across that way on my videos, and when I sometimes read, it doesn't come across that way because I've been improving on my reading. Um, I have dyslexia issues, number one, so letters and stuff get flipped or reversed or they're missing, even though they're right there. I literally thought that a box on a cardboard that says this, I thought it said SHIT. Didn't know. I looked at it and I realized dyslexia, man. It's not misspelling. It's just dyslexia. That's what I saw on the box. Literally, that's what I saw on the box. So yeah, I think I have a bit of a problem there too. But back in high school, back in high school, I'll have a mid mental breakdown and bad stuttering whenever I had to present a. Oh yeah, I know all about that. Have you hit the 3 hour mark? Oh, not yet, Chinese Nuna. Moonlight, haha, sorry, just to amuse you. Yeah, no, not yet, but I'm getting close. Listen. I knew this was gonna happen, Chinese Nuna. I knew. But honestly, this is the first time that I've ever had like a Q&A live stream where people ask me questions. So I actually like this. I like this. I've tried to, cultivate that, but it never seems to work out. But you guys just started asking me questions. So I enjoy the asking me questions thing. I really do. It's almost nighttime here, so signing off. Thank you for everything you do, Chinese Nuna. I appreciate you. That is why you are the managing mod. You are number one mod. Always. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, absolutely. Live streams are fun when people actually engage, ask things. Yes, they are. They are. This is probably the funnest live stream I've had. When we talk about political stuff for a long time, I get so somewhat intense, and we never have a good enough time. Good night, Chinese Nuna. Thank you again. Thank you. I tip my hat to you. You always do a great job here. And I will come see your Instagram after this live is over. I just have to remind myself. Chinese Nuna, ladies and gentlemen. The one that always tells me what to do and steers me right. She's been doing it for 2 years? I think she's been with me for about maybe 2.5 years, Chinese Nuna. I think she's been with me for that long. God bless her. Drained. Serious and deep topics can be draining, definitely. Switch it up from time to time. Yes, it's good. It's important to switch it up from time to time. We appreciate Nuna. Yes, we do. The moon base would not be the same without Chinese Nuna. When I'm mad, I stuttered bad. You know what? All of you guys are talking about problems that I literally have. have and well, had and still have. You guys, I don't know if you guys have noticed, when I do live streams, you get the raw moon base. That's right, helping you stay moon based. That's what it is. I love it. You guys are geniuses. I appreciate that. By the way, Antonio, what was your yes? What was your song of the year? Okay. Oh, I never answered that question, did I? What was my song of the year of 2024? Um, that's a good question. What was my song of 2024? Do I have one? Do I have a song of the year? Oh God. What is my song of the year? That's a good question. Oh my. I don't know. It's a good question. What is my song of the year? Oh wait. My phone is right there. Hold on. I can do this without my phone. I think. I think. Oh, maybe no, maybe I will need my phone. That is a good question. I don't know. I don't know. Do I have one? Real 2024 was kind of just okay. I don't know if I have one. Maybe. Oh, I don't. That's difficult because I can name like a few of them. Like Taman's Guilty is like one of my absolute top tier favorites of 2024. I think that was 2024, right? I believe that was 2024. Was Guilty. Cannot stand APT. What was the most awkward friendship you've had? With my sister's ex-boyfriend. That was the most awkward friendship I've had. It was weird. It was strange. Um, it was just weird. It was odd. I can't even. I don't even know if I could call it a friendship. Outside of that one would probably be the most awkward friendship I've ever had. Ooh, it is a tough dynamic. It was a very tough dynamic. Um, I won't say anything negative about him in particular, but it was not a healthy friendship. It was there were too many things going on. Too many things going on. And that was a very weird time in my life too. Very weird, odd time. And it was just a lot of weird stuff going on during that time. Just a lot of weird stuff. I don't even know I don't even know how to, but it was weird. And it's like you said, it's a weird dynamic because it's my sister's ex-boyfriend, my boyfriend at the time, and supposedly best friend. And then he comes back and tells me later on, you were the best friend I ever had. And I just didn't realize it. Well, you realize it now, but it's too little too late, So it was an interesting thing. But outside of that, there was a girl I don't know why I'm calling her a girl, a woman. She was definitely not a girl. A woman in at my job, and she claimed to be friend. She wanted to be friends with me, but she actually had a crush on me and uh, wanted to win my heart or something weird like that. But she would. I, that is a whole. That one was just terrible. That one was absolutely terrible. Ooh, I don't even know how to. Ooh, yeah, that one was rough. That was supposed to be a friendship, but it wasn't. That was one of the most awkward friendships I've ever had. I also wasn't a huge fan of. I love Bruno Mars. You were their best friend, but you don't think of them like that. Isn't that a bit odd? Odd on their behalf. You were their best friend, but you didn't think of them like that. Yeah, yeah. He claimed that I was his best friend, but he claimed that I was his best friend long after we weren't friends anymore. He said he had like 15 best friends, and I was like, wow, 15. I've never heard of 15 best friends. Then he switched up and was like, you're actually the friend that's been the most good to me. Nobody, like all my other friends are like, but you're like a genuine friend. And I was like, well, I appreciate that, but where was this energy when, back 3 years ago? What happened? Um, yeah, we had a lot of interesting conversations that turned into arguments. And it was just nobody in the house really liked the guy. I was trying to understand him, but he was something was off. Something was off. I'm so old and married for so long. Ooh, that passed by quickly. There was some micro publishing payola allegations. Atlantic record artist. What? Why was the wildest thing a comment section has told you? What was the wildest thing a comment section has told you? That's really rough because there was a lot of wild, like I can't even being a YouTuber, there's really no way of really like categorizing what's the wildest comment that someone's told you because they're all usually wild. But the one that's the most triggering, I will say, is when I made the video talking about how I don't believe that Taemin and Key's comments toward Minho were colorist. And someone who I believe was black left a comment saying that I'm a colorist supporter. I tried to have reasonable dialogue with all of the people that were disagreeing with me. But when this person called me a colorist supporter, for some reason I snapped. Because I was like, oh my God, if that's what you got out of this conversation, if that's what you got out of this video, you're clearly misrepresenting me. Like that is not how dare you call me a colorist supporter? Like I got almost. You ever get so mad that you start shaking violently and you can't control yourself? That's how pissed off I was when they called me a colorist supporter. As much as I talk about, things, nuances of stuff on my channel, as much as I advocate for people no matter what race, or should I say ethnicity, skin color, and all that, you are, you know, you are accepted and welcomed in this space. As much of an advocate as I am for that, and for you to call me a color supporter because I said that Taman and Key's comments towards Minho, with the context, with the proper context in mind, it's not colorist. And they dared to call me a colorist supporter because I said that. I had to make another video. That's how bad it was. I had to make a whole nother video explaining it. And when I explained it, no one said a word. No one flirts with me anymore. No one flirts with me anymore. No. Well, don't feel bad. I'm 33. No one flirts with me either. So don't feel bad. I'm at the age where people should be flirting with me, but no one's flirting. My awkward friendship. My awkward friendship was with a dude in 10th grade that liked me, but I rejected him, so he tried to be friends instead, but will flirt with me and keep asking me out. And oh, you know what? Ooh, yes. There was a girl in my job that would hug me, and she hugged me in a way that was very like, I want to get in bed with you kind of hug. And I was like, okay. I made her day every day because she would hug me like that. And I was just like, okay, something's off here. eventually that whole thing kind of stopped. There was no more, you know, hugging like that. Because, you know, gotta run. Great live. Stay safe, everyone. Thank you, Jung Tae. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you, thank you. I appreciate you so much. Thank you. My awkward friendship. Oh yeah, I recently had a friendship that had to be broken off because they turned out to like me. And they sat on that for a long time, a long while. Very very uncomfy. Got you. Woo. I am just not doing well today with reading, apparently. Trying to make sure I got all the comments. I gave up on love a long time ago. The combo of Ace and the combo of Ace and lesbian is not a great one. Being a lesbian is already limiting. But if you won't sleep with anyone, then everyone's suddenly gone. Yeah, that sounds like a rough time, for sure. That's rough. You know what? This old it is weird, actually. Yes, that's very weird. Some old teacher hugging me in like a, well, I mean, I don't know. You might have to describe how this whole thing came about, because right, that is kind of weird. Yeah, you might have to describe, because I've had actually, you know what, there's only a few teachers that would ever hug me, but they didn't hug me daily. Hold on, let me read this comment again. This old teacher would try to hug me all the time. Yeah, I don't know. Something's off about that. Some old teacher trying to hug you all the time. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. No teacher that did that to me. Yeah, that's weird. Something's off about that teacher then. Something's truly off about that teacher. Um, if it's graduation day, then yeah, all other times is a no-no. Yes, I suppose so. I suppose so. Oh man. So when I get down, but I let go. Oh God! And then this guy pops up. This guy pops up as soon as I don't want to see. This guy Nathan pops up while I'm looking for something. Oh, I might have put too much on my lips. Oh, there we go. I don't think that helped any. Basically, it's my history teacher, ninth grade. He likes to hug people, and I guess I was nice to him, so to get good grades. I was nice to him. Sorry, I was nice to him to get good grades, so I guess I became his hug. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to. It sounds kind of odd, if I'm being honest. Like, I get you love your students, but it's just kind of like, too much hugging. There is a such thing as too much hugging, I think. And I think whether he's young or old, it doesn't really matter because, gosh, I cannot talk anymore. My voice is going. It doesn't really matter if he's young or old. I think it's weird either way. Sometimes it's actually worse if they're younger and married. Except Hub's from a teacher. It's weird. They are. Role model, not your friend. I mean, I don't think it's anything inherently wrong with a teacher hugging you. I've had a few teachers that hugged me and stuff, and I was young at the time. I think when you reach a certain age, right, and you're probably talking about like later on, maybe like, I would even say middle school, maybe like high school. It's kind of weird when a teacher hugs you in high school. You ever fought? No, but I did used to get beat up as a kid. I know, right? My voice is like dying now. I used to get beat up as a kid. I used to get bullied and beat up. As I've told you guys before, do you ever have that when you record videos where your voice just gives up? Yes. And I was actually trying to say earlier that you guys have no idea, because one of you guys had mentioned stuttering problems when you like present projects and stuff. I have a stuttering issue that I have to constantly edit those stutterings out of my video. That's why most of the time you don't hear it in my videos, because I edited them out. I don't do stutter. I hate it. It's a big problem, and I try to get rid of it. Yeah, I was bullied when I was like, what, 6 years old, in first grade. And it was either first grade or kindergarten. It was one of those two. We got bullied all the time. As you guys know, I live in Baltimore, and Baltimore is one of the biggest crime cities of, in America. One of, not the biggest, but one of. And a lot of those kids were sons of drug dealers and gang members and stuff. So the kids acted the way they acted because their parents acted the way they acted. So I got bullied. My older brother would tell me, don't show weakness. Mind you, my brother is 2 years older than me. I'm like maybe 5 or 6. So he's like maybe 8 or 9, I think. I think I'm doing the math right. 5, 6, 7. Yeah, something like that. Why is my brother telling me don't show weakness? We lived in a neighborhood called Hafer Street. Hafer Street was literally a walk away from our school. Hafer Street was such a bad neighborhood. There was people walking around with guns in their hands. Not joking. There were people walking in the neighborhood with guns in their hands. And we're kids. I got bullied and beat up all the time. My brother got mad at me because I was a weak punk. And I'm just like, dude, I'm only 5 or 6 years old. What do you expect me to do? These kids are bigger than me. They're bullying me because I'm Kyle's brother. And because I look like someone that's worthy of picking on. And yeah, that was my life. And the worst bullying of all was my first grade teacher. My first grade teacher was the biggest bully. Her words hurt deeper than any punch or kick that was ever dealt to me by those bullies, which is where all of my problems kind of stem from, was my first grade teacher. I actually failed the first grade because my teacher was an incompetent, garbage teacher. She was trash. Her teaching methods, there were none. She had us learning multiplication in first grade. And she obsessed with black Afrocentric stuff. She had us watching Shaka Zulu. In first grade, Shaka Zulu. Do you realize there's naked women in Shaka Zulu? Why are kids watching Shaka Zulu? Stupid. She's crazy. She was crazy. She was black. Her name was Miss Conaway, and she was evil. The woman was evil. She mentally scarred me. And it took years of repair for my special education teacher to help repair the damage that she did to me. It was so triggering. You know, when teachers do this and then they give you the sheet, the worksheet, that was triggering for me because my teacher did that. And it got to the point where when I restarted first grade in Alabama, my first grade, like every time my teacher would do this and put a worksheet on my desk, I would freeze up because my first grade teacher, Miss Conaway, did not help me. She did not help me at all. I was scared to death of her. She always picked on me, called me stupid to my face, called me the R word to my face, told my dad that I was an R word. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. And she actually thought that I should be sent to a mental institution instead of regular school. And all I had was a learning disability. But it was because I think it has something to do with the way I was born, how I was born, and that's where that came from. That and my dad is, well, I'm not gonna go there, but my dad's not exactly like And I think he is on the spectrum. I think my dad is. But as for me, I think how I that's so scarring. Yeah, she put a dunce cap on my head one time when I was. She called me up to the front of the class, had me sit down, went to her drawer, pulled out this big old huge hat that I thought was a birthday hat, and put it on my head and said, "This is our dunce for the day, ladies and gentlemen." And all the kids laughed and clapped, and I thought they were celebrating me. And I came home from school that day, and I asked my brother, "What's a dunce?" And my brother was like, "You don't know what a dunce is?" I was like, "No." And he told me, and I said, "Oh, okay." And I ran in my room, shut the door, and cried because I was like, "Okay, she." It was just another way to bully me. Um, she didn't know how to deal with kids who could not comprehend as fast as others, and she blamed my parents for why I was the way I was instead of doing her job teaching. Um, and she was old. She was an old lady. So, yeah, she should have went to an institution herself. Sorry, but bro, yeah, she was very evil. She was an evil woman. Pretty sure she's gone. She's probably, you know, no longer alive at this point. She was old then, so I could only imagine that woman's probably way gone. Um, my mom said, if she was there when the teacher called me the R word, she would have been in jail because she would have went. My mother, she looks nice. You'll see her on like videos I did. She looks nice, but back in the day when I was a kid, my mother was a gangster. Like she will put her hands on you and choke you until something happens, and she would have probably ended up in jail for real. I believe her. She would end up in jail. And thank God, God knew that don't need to happen. So, but I finally told her what happened. I let this go on for an entire year, guys. So I will say that I give myself some credit for being that strong to endure a year's worth of um, mental and psychological abuse from that woman. Not to mention the constant bullying that I faced from kids, bigger kids. When a grown up tells you you're stupid long enough, you start to believe them, um, and that's what kind of happened to me. My motivation for learning stopped. There's other things that she said to me that she did, but she was just an evil woman, and she had no business being a teacher, and the school should have fired her a long time ago. But yeah, she did a number on me. But thankfully, my special education teacher was there for me. We moved to Alabama, and that's where I got all the help. I had to restart everything. I redid first grade and all that, and learned what I was supposed to learn, not timetables. Who learns timetables and multiplication and division in first grade? Mind you, this is the 90s. This is like 1990, maybe 7 or 6 or one of those when I was in first grade. I think it was it's like 96 or 97. Or 98, I can't remember. 96, 97, 98, one of those 3 years. She's crazy. She was crazy. The woman was she lost her mind. Oh, by the way, and that's where the reading issue came from too. She had us reading to all of these big wigs. I don't know where they came from, and she was I don't I don't know, Grace. We had a difficult school system. I'm glad you came out as a perfectly fine gentleman. Yes, I still have learning curbs here and there, comprehension curbs. But I, I, I used to not be able to talk well. I was terrible at talking. Every time I got stuck on a word, I would stomp my feet and get mad. I couldn't get the word out. Um, I had speech problems. Um, all kinds of stuff. My special education teacher helped me a whole lot. So yeah, I came out pretty good. Came out pretty good, and like now I'm making very how do you say, comprehensive videos on YouTube and speaking in fluent English, perfect. Of course, they say that oh, you talk white, and I was like, oh, you don't talk like a black person, you talk like a white person. I was like, I wouldn't know. I just if white if that's an insult and you're saying that talking white means speaking fluent, perfect English, then I'll take that as a compliment because I would rather speak in an English in a manner in which people can understand me than use Ebonics. I don't say "k" and all that stuff because I wasn't raised that way. The mother ones was raised that way. I was raised you need to speak clearly. So I do. And I dropped my southern accent once I left Alabama. Once we left Alabama, I was like, oh God, I'm so glad. But sometimes it'll come out. Every now and then, if I get too excited, you'll hear my southern accent come out or my southern way of speaking. We lived in Alabama for like 15 years. And when I was maybe 21 or 22, we left. And we've been here in Baltimore for over 10 years now, which is crazy. I can't believe we spent 10 years here. It doesn't feel like it, but we did. I had this kind of... Wait, I had this... Sorry, ooh. Slow down, Avery. I had this kid with braces. And would spit when he talked to her. And the math teacher would, sorry, I got a little carried away, and the math teacher would cover his mouth with a tissue whenever he spits. You know what? I had a friend who spits like who did that. See, you can hear my I'm doing it, the issue that I have with talking, but yeah, my friend used to do that. I think his name was Davaris. Back in first grade or second grade, I think it was first grade. It was either first grade or second grade. I might have been second grade. He did that. He would spit when he talked. He had like crust on his mouth all the time. I hung out with the outcasts because I felt like I was an outcast too, and it wasn't really a nice thing to be looked down upon because everybody knows that you go to special education. So I hung out with the outcasts, and Tavares he had crust on his mouth all the time. I would tell him, wipe your mouth. He would stand up like this. He was very like nerdy and geeky looking, and I would tell him, put your show it. I was looking out for him, but I was quite mean in the way that I was towards him. But he was very thankful that I was looking out for him. It might have come across mean, but I didn't want him to be seen with me looking like that, because I think some of my thought processes from when I was in Baltimore when I was a kid, I carried it with me, and I was kind of echoing what my older brother would tell me: don't look weak, don't look like a punk. And I was kind of applying them to him because I already knew how it felt to be picked on all the time. So I was like, dude, wipe your mouth. You got like dry crust all over your mouth. Wipe your mouth. Please. You know, put your shoulders down. You look like a geek. Uh, you know, his nose would be all like, I'm like, dude, you walked out the house like this? But I cared about him, so I did what I could to make sure he didn't get bullied and beat up too much. He didn't, um, thankfully, and he thanked me at the end of the year for looking out for him. He was a good friend. He was a good friend. He was just very he needed someone to look after him a little bit. That's all. No lie, I would hang. Wait, no lie, no lie, no lie. I would hang my head low. Whenever I really do need my glasses. I can't do this today. I can't do this today. That's how you know the live stream is about to end because I can't do this. This doesn't help either. This doesn't. My glasses are so foggy. No lie. I would hang my head low whenever the teacher, I think it's this ring light, whenever the teacher comes to get me out of the middle of class. Yeah. Thankfully, though, I understand that, by the way, because it does kind of feel embarrassing when you're pulled out of the class and it's like, say, for instance, the setting of the class is everyone's taking a test, right? Oh God, no, I don't want to. Actually, you know what? Don't recommend this channel to me, please. Just don't recommend this channel. Like, get this off of my feed. It's like test taking, right? And so, you know, when it's test taking time, it's quiet. It's all quiet. No one's moving, and well, except their hands, and it's quiet. And then you hear the door open. Everybody looks where the door is, and they're like, my teacher, Miss Mobley, would go, and I would be happy that she came to get me, but I would be embarrassed at the same time because I'm like, oh God, I gotta go right now. Have a good evening, all. Thank you for coming, Sumi. But yeah, it was like that. So I understand that's a very embarrassing thing. It's late, and I have done what I said I wouldn't do. I went over 3 hours. I think we need to end it here, guys. So, you know, everybody's leaving anyway. I think we need to end it here. Thank you guys for coming. I appreciate it. I appreciate all of y'all so much. Whew. I needed this talk. This was great. I'm going to go make me some tea. And I think we'll talk more about the whole idea of crying beautiful tears another time as well, because I'm not done with that yet. I might even make a video about it, and turn it into a YouTube short or something, because that whole crying beautiful tears, or you look beautiful when you cry, that's just weird. Anyway, I'm signing off now. Bye, everybody. Starring, oh my gosh, I forgot to put starring. Yes. Thank you all for coming. I appreciate it so much. Thank you. Thank you so much for all of you guys' support. Really means a lot. And someday soon, I will be on screen with a camera in front of me. Not this lame contraption you see before you, but a real, authentic camera, a DSLR. What does that even mean, though? Starring. Oh my gosh. Starring. What, starring? Teacher comes to get me out of the middle of class to go to one special. Bye-bye. I guess we'll talk about it another time. Thank you guys for coming. Love you guys. Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.